Hello class, I'm gonna making my second attempt at doing this video. We'll see if I can do a little better job this time. Adolescence, barriers to a healthy adult identity. This plays off of where the previous video left off, and we left off in that other video with this, the idea that there is a new task for teenagers today, and that they have to answer these three questions. Who is the adult me? What do I want to do with my life? And how will I make it happen? In other words, my plan for adulthood, right? And what did we say? I got got kind of fired up in that last video, and I laid this out as clear as I possibly could, that these questions must be answered by the end of high school, or it results in 2 to 10 years of time wasted on completing this task. This is the purpose for high school. This is why you're in high school, is to figure this out, right? 500 years ago, it was figured out for you. You didn't have choice. Now you have choice. And with that choice comes this level of responsibility of you have to figure this out. Well, you do it during high school. If you don't, you're going to waste even more time before you really can take on the adult life you want, right? There's stuff that gets in the way, though. And these barriers can get in the way. This gets really complex, and I'm gonna walk through several of these. There are a number of things socially, society-wide, that can mess up your ability to really answer these questions and get going with your adult life as soon as you possibly can. And here's what we're talking about. Hypocrisy. Being hypocritical. And I threw a definition together. It's right there. But I would ask my middle school students, what does that mean to be hypocritical? And sooner or later somebody would say, well, it means that you say one thing, but then you do the opposite. And I would say, yeah, you're right. And here's the danger of hypocritical things as seen through the eyes of teenagers. I would ask them, oh, so like some old guy smoking a great big fat cigar. He's sitting there smoking, and he notices you looking, and he's like, oh, don't ever take this up. Don't ever become a smoker. The smoking is horrible for you. It'll kill you. It's bad thing. Stay the hell away from tobacco, man. And I would ask my middle school students, I said, so that's hypocritical? And they would all laugh. I go, yeah, that's the total hypocrite. They're smoking and they're telling you not to. I said, okay, so they're giving advice, but they're not even following it themselves. They go, yeah. I said, but is it good advice? And they like, it stops them in their tracks, and they got to think. It's like, well, yeah, it's good advice. I said, okay, do you know some teenagers who would look at that advice, and in their head they'd be like, screw you, I'll do whatever. Who the hell are you to tell me not to smoke? You're the one smoking right now. I'll smoke if I damn well want to. And of course, they would all know someone who thinks like that, right? It plays into that concept we talked about before with at-risk behavior stemming from rebelliousness, right? We'll keep going. And hopefully you get now how these can become, if they progress and get worse, they can become barriers to achieving a healthy adult identity. All right, so if you wind up working with teenagers, you will see that they're very quick. They can easily spot the hypocrisy in others, especially in the adult world, right? And you probably will also see that it's very easy for many of them, certainly not all, but it's easy for many of them to dismiss the dangers present in that hypocritical behavior or thinking. Um, the smoking example and the example of a potential teenager's reaction to that. Who are you to tell me what to do? You're the one doing it. I'll do it if I want. Um, they may, in fact, see the behavior of the adult as justification for them to engage in the same behavior, while at the same time acknowledging it's stupid behavior. Uh, there's a serious irony there, right? And we need to do our best to help teenagers snap out of that stupid thinking, right? They're engaging in some game playing going, it's psychological game playing. They're looking for a reason to justify behavior to engage in this stupid activity. So what we're going to look at in this PowerPoint, we're going to look at half of the stuff today and half of it next week. The following slides represent thinking and behaviors that can become a barrier to completing this new task of teens. These things put a healthy adult identity at risk. So let's just dive right into it, all right? This first one is, it's not that huge of a deal, but it's there and it sets things up for things that are to come, right? Youth culture is idolized. Being young is cool. Being old is not so cool, right? Back in the 80s, Pepsi had an ad campaign, and the main tagline, the slogan of the ad campaign was, "Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi." Pretty brilliant, right? You flip that around, kind of reverse engineer it, and it's, if you drink Pepsi, you're going to have fun and you will stay young. They're playing on this society-wide emphasis on youth. Everyone wants to be young. Nobody wants to be old, right? You don't see an ad for adult diapers as being young and cool or some kind of cool thing. You don't. But be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. Makeup, for example. A huge portion of the makeup market is for older women to continue to look young, because as a society we value youth more than we value age, and some might say wisdom. Kind of a sad thing, spoken as an older person myself. The potential impact on teens. Well, we have teens that are looking for role models. They want a role model in the adult world, but often there are adults who are looking to young people to be role models for them, so they can figure out how to stay young and cool themselves. As an example, I would ask my middle school students, and I'm going to use lots of references to them, mostly because they taught me a lot, right? And I want you to benefit from that knowledge. I would ask them if they know anyone who's, I don't know, in their mid-30s or so, but they walk, talk, dress, and act like a teenager. And a whole bunch of them, they'd raise their hands, they go, "Oh my God, that's my mom. Oh, it's so embarrassing." And I would say, "Why?" And they were just like, "I don't know. I don't know." Some of them would even say, they would tell their mom, "Act your age." And the reaction, well, I don't want to act my age. I want to be young. Clinging to youth. Well, it presents a problem then, potentially anyway, for teenagers when they're looking for a role model. Because if the adult world is looking to their age group as role models, then just exactly what the hell does the adult world have to offer for teenagers? Maybe teens already have it figured out, and they'll just continue to do whatever it is they do. This is a problem, right? Hopefully, teenagers find a good, true adult role model somewhere, so that they have um, a vision of how it could be for themselves, right? Here we go. Work versus leisure. Okay, I'll let you read that. Essentially, there are too many people out there who see work as this horrible prison-like atmosphere where their freedom is stolen from them 8 hours a day or more, maybe, and they're forced to do this in order to gain the money they need to do what they really want to do, the fun activities and hobbies that they enjoy. To get the good stuff, they have to deal with the terrible, torturous work environment. That's not what work is supposed to be. And you see the word "but" there. These are, and it's in all caps, right? These are big butts. Yeah, I said that. These are huge. They're massive. They're Kardashian sized. And the deal here is work is supposed to be this incredibly rewarding, satisfying, fun thing all by itself. They say the difference between a job and a career. What is it? Well, a career is a job you go to, and when you're there, you say to yourself, holy crap, they pay me to do this. They literally pay me to do this. I I say that a lot. I say that a lot myself. I have fun doing what I do and teaching, and hopefully you're having fun. I hope so. Probably not all of you, but I have fun doing it, and it is incredibly rewarding, and it's a big part of my life. Whatever you do occupationally should at least have some element of that in a good portion of the job. Every job is going to have parts of it that you just hate, that are drudgery, that is horrible, and you just deal with it and move on, because there are the other good parts of the job that you really enjoy and love. Overall, though, across all of your occupation, your career that you choose, essentially, you should have this incredibly great, satisfying feeling from the work that you do, knowing that you're contributing, right? Teens don't necessarily get that message. I've had so many students, middle school students before, who say their parents do nothing but complain about their work. They hate their jobs. And I tell them they're in the wrong job. Then they're in the wrong job, right? And maybe it's time for a change, maybe a big change. Find something that you really enjoy, that you love to do, that is satisfying to you. Not everyone takes that stance, by the way. Some say there's nothing wrong with committing your life to something you really don't like very much. There's a story about a psychologist, and he quit being a psychologist. He's a clinical psychologist. He would listen to that and help people all day, and he changed careers. And instead of dealing with people, his new career, he started a company cleaning out septic tanks. He literally would be standing knee deep in crap, And someone asked him, why did you change? You were a clinical psychologist working in an office helping people. And he told them, well, I got tired of taking their crap. So um, I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and occupationally, there's all kinds of things you can do that you can find your own level of satisfaction from. But your job should not be this horrible, disgusting thing that you detest doing every day. Time to change, if that's the case, right? And keep going. And make sure teenagers know and understand this. Here we go. Individualism versus conformity. All right. I'll pop this up and let you read it. Teens think that the way they dress and stuff, they're expressing their unique individual personality. And I call bullcrap on that. It's not true most of the time, almost all of the time. That is not true. What they really are doing is conforming to the fashion, the fads, the style, the language, even the actions and behaviors of some peer group. I'll give you an example. Out in California, I went with my wife and daughters, and we went to this huge mall. And I mean, it's massive. It is massive, and it's set up in a big loop in a square, and it's probably 1 mile all the way around the whole square. So most people go there and they walk their way all the way around and do their shopping and leave, right? And it takes a while. Well, I was there at Christmas time. God help me. I was there at Christmas time. I ducked into the music store and was playing guitars. I told my wife, go, whatever, I'll meet you in 2 hours at the food court. Okay. Well, I get a phone call. Hey, time to go to the food court. I'll see you there in half hour or whatever. So I start walking, and it's packed. It's like shoulder to shoulder, and everyone's moving. And right in front of me are 2 teenage girls. I'm going to describe them. Everything they're wearing is black. They have black fishnet stockings on. They're wearing black Converse shoes. They have black lipstick and about 8 tons of black mascara and eyeliner on. Without saying any more, you already know the kind of person I'm talking about, right? Who are they? They're like the emo goth girls, whatever you want to call that group. And they're right in front of me, and it's packed, and the crowd is moving fairly slow, so I'm like stuck behind them. I'd have to shove people out of the way to move faster. So they're right in front of me, and they're talking, and they're actually griping. They had just been kicked out of a store. They had been kicked out of Forever 21, right? Where apparently they were ridiculing the fashion in the store Forever 21. And the manager kicked them out. Well, their conversation went something like this. Oh, that manager didn't have to be such a bitch. Yeah, she kicked us out just because she didn't like who we are. Yeah, she totally judged us by our appearance. That's all anyone can do anymore is judge people by the way they look. Yeah, totally. And then the other one is saying, yeah, totally. We're just trying to express our unique individuality. And I busted up laughing. And they turned around and they I don't know, they were like, they were scoffing at me. And I said, oh, it was something else. And anyway, I laughed because what they said is complete bull. They're not expressing their unique identity. That's the exact opposite of what they're doing. What they're really doing is they're adopting the styles, the language, the behavior, the trends, the even actions, literally the way they walk. Uh, they're adopting all those things to conform to some subgroup. In this case, it's the emo goth subgroup, right? They're not expressing uniqueness. They're expressing conformity. They're following all the rules you have to follow to be a member of that group. And they're broadcasting it to the whole world for everyone to see. It's like they're screaming, "We are emo goth girls." That is the opposite of expressing their own unique identity. They're not expressing their own unique identity. So, I would tell my middle school students, be yourself. Be yourself, right? Now, get this though. In middle school, conforming is what you need to do. You don't want, especially in middle school, to be the one that stands out as the odd or different person, right? You just can't really do that. The 14 years I spent in California, there was only one kid who really, truly did that. And they stood out. They didn't, this girl actually made her own clothing. And she came up with some wild, really crazy designs of her own clothing. She really was her own person as an 8th grader. And that was pretty cool to see. But for the most of them, they stick to the script. They wear the uniform of acceptable clothing and speech for their peer group. It is what it is, right? It will take them a while. And I tell them, eventually, you're not going to care about what anyone else thinks about what you wear, right? Your friends will care more about being friends with you as you are. In other words, they'll accept you for who you are, because you're a cool person the way you are. So this idea of individualism versus conformity, for a teenager looking to figure out their identity, if they fall into this trap of conforming, they're not really truly working on answering question number one: who is the adult me? There's the danger. All right. We're going to go to the next one. Oh, here we go. Okay. Barriers to a healthy identity. This topic gets tricky. It's and I dealt with this in middle school, and I'm not doing a sex ed class here. I'm talking about the danger of engaging in this behavior, right? And that's reinforced for the most part by the adult world. Parents, teachers, religious leaders, they're all going to say, don't do it. But the media, I mean, parents, teachers, religious leaders, they're in a competition against the media. And what is the media? How does the media portray sex, right? How does the media do this? TVs, movies, music, advertising, news, internet, apps, commercials, billboards, magazines, they all seem to suggest that people are having sex all the time, everywhere, and I underline this, and that multiple random partners is okay. This is a lie. It's a lie, and it presents extreme risk to all teens. I'm going to give you a few examples of the lie. There are, in my old classes, I had 7th and 8th graders. The 8th graders kind of had part of this figured out, somewhat. The 7th graders, oh boy, really gullible. I would say, I would ask my 7th grade boys, and it was a mixed class. It's 7th and 8th graders. I'd say 7th grade boys raise their hands, and there'd be 5 to 10 of them potentially, and they'd raise their hands. I said, okay, you boys pay close attention. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to blow your mind, and you maybe won't believe me, but it's the truth, and you need to know it. Axe body spray will not cause women to simply fall madly in love with you. Now, everyone else in class busts up laughing, and most of those boys will too, but there's a couple boys who are like, because they kind of believed it. And, there would be girls in class, oh, Mr. Schumacher, that's stupid. No one really believes that. And I'd say, really? They don't? They don't believe that? I disagree. Because you take your 7th grade boy and you go to Walmart and you're going down the deodorant aisle and you're trying to pick the deodorant to buy, and there it is on the shelf, Axe. And in the back of your head, you remember the commercial where the girls swarm the guy who's wearing Axe, and you think, I'll just get that. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing, right? There's tons of examples like this. Hardee's, for God's sake. Hardee's hamburgers are awesome. The $6 jalapeno Swiss burger, oh man, love it. Why do they have a supermodel in a bikini eating one of those on a commercial? Why is that? Why is that? For teenagers, think about this. We said before that their brains change during puberty, right? Their brains change. And this is one of those changes. This sense of attraction has kicked in, right? There's a chunk of your brain devoted to this. And it goes hand in hand with the maturation of the reproductive system, right? All of this goes together. Well, here's this brand new thing happening in your skull called attraction, right? Why does the media lie? Because they make money by lying. Axe makes money. And Axe will say, oh, we're just having a joke about this. No, they're not. They're making money off of gullible people who are experiencing the sense of attraction for the first time. And in the back of their head, they're thinking, could that be true? Okay, then what's the attraction for a hamburger, right? I would have boys say, well, it means that if you buy that hamburger, you could get a girl like that too. And everyone cracks up laughing at how ridiculous it is. And I said, that's exactly right. No, not that you'll get a girl like that. That's what they want you to think. And it works. They ran those ads. Their hamburger sales skyrocketed. Imagine that. But they weren't selling all to boys. What would be the motivation for girls buying those hamburgers? Well, if I buy that hamburger, I could look like that too and be just as attractive to all the men, all the boys, whatever, right? It's some crazy thinking. So these advertisers have figured out, and the classic advertising deal is sex sells. and they have figured this out. If you tie the product to, if you link it to that sense of attraction, if you link your product to sexual attraction, you are going to sell a lot more product. And it's proven over and over and over. It works. It works, right? There's a greater problem here, though. While it works, it also presents a lie, right? And the lie is that people are having sex all the time, everywhere, and that multiple random partners is just fine. It's okay to do that. By the way, buy my hamburger. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Makeup ads, clothing ads. You know, my students, their eyes would pop open. They would think, oh my God, yes. All these companies are advertising in the same way. I said, yeah, they're all lying to you because they're trying to take advantage of this brand new change inside your skull so that they can get you to spend money on stuff that they're making, that they're selling, right? That's bad enough as it is. But when it perpetuates this lie of, that promiscuity is the norm, then it becomes a seriously dangerous thing to teenagers who are trying to establish their adult identity. In fact, some teenagers, out of a sense of rebelliousness, may engage in sexual behavior purely out of a sense of rebelliousness. Screw you, I'll do it if I want to. Parents, teachers, etc. tell you don't do it. Who the hell are you to tell me not to do it? I'm old enough to decide for myself. Well, that might be true. Might be true. The next line here, sex is a normal and important part of a healthy adult lifestyle when practiced in a committed, monogamous relationship by two people in love. That's the purpose of this. That's the purpose of this. Right? There will be teens who fall for the lie. You think back to high school, and you probably know which teens they were. They fall for the lie, and they engage in promiscuity, right? Multiple partners. No. This engaging in promiscuity is an immediate and direct danger to achieving a healthy adult identity. If an unplanned pregnancy happens from a promiscuous encounter, mom's left holding the bag. Teenage mom is left holding the bag. Teenage daddy had his fun and he's out of there. This plays out over and over and over with baby daddies, right? I know lots of people who fell for that and they became a teenage mother and they had to deal with that. And what happened to them? Whatever plans they may have had, whatever their adult identity may have been shaping into to that point, wiped out, changed. They're immediately thrown into adult level decision making and really into survival mode in a big way. And whatever their plans had been are immediately changed. Are they able to dive into the true adult world immediately? No, probably not, because the true adult world requires some kind of schooling or training after high school, and they've got a baby to take care of. And the odds of them being able to go to college are complicated at best, right? It becomes very complicated. Their ability to commit to classes and to coursework becomes very complicated. Doesn't mean it's impossible at all. Not at all. But it becomes very complicated. For that matter, completing high school can become very complicated. The chances of them finishing with their high school class becomes more remote, right? So promiscuity damages your ability to achieve a healthy adult identity in the same time frame that you could have otherwise. Um, what about an unplanned pregnancy from a teenage committed monogamous relationship with two people in love? That one gets a little trickier, doesn't it? You know, then you have hopefully two parties committed to raising that child and hopefully still in love. And both parties have to face that their plans for adulthood are now radically different than they had been. It's kind of like they got to take 3 steps back and start that planning all over, start that figuring out. They still need to plan. Are they going to get it done by the end of high school? I kind of doubt it. They've got other things that they have to focus on immediately now, right? So engaging in this behavior becomes definitely very problematic, and it at best delays your entry into the adult world in a meaningful way for several years. Let's see. The lie. I talked about the lie. I gave a couple of examples, but the examples are everywhere. For God's sake, music lyrics. TVs, movies, music lyrics, advertising, all that stuff. The way women are degraded and objectified in these media sources really completely sends the wrong message. And there were people who will believe that lie, that that's how it is, or that it's okay to be that way, truly face an identity crisis if they choose to engage in those kinds of behaviors based on that lie. And that's the thing that really gets to me. They believe the lie. They part with their money for stupid products of all kinds, but then they believe the lie, the greater lie that this is how life. No, this is not how life is. Sex should be part of this committed, loving relationship. That's where it belongs, right? Okay, we're going to end this right here, right now. And we've got 3 more barriers to a healthy adult identity, and then I'm going to sum that up in the next video. Okay, check out the assignment. I'll have you do some writing about this, and I will see all of you later. See you next week, actually, with another video. All right, catch you later. Bye.